Hey guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Jonathan Garcia, and in today's video we're going to be doing a very cute baby Deadpool costume for my son Jace. This was made for the 2024 MegaCon here in Orlando, Florida, where we're from, and had this idea for his first MegaCon. I definitely wanted to go as a kind of dad-son little duel here, so I thought, why not Deadpool and Wolverine with the movie kind of hype coming out. I thought this was going to be a great first kind of con for us to go to, and it worked out great. Here I am just starting with a blank canvas. They didn't have any Deadpool baby onesies, if you can believe it or not, so I knew I was going to have a ton of fun making this. The base was from Amazon. Just type in red baby onesie, and of course you're just going to get a blank canvas here. These pens worked like a charm. They had a narrow tip and a wide tip on the opposite side and made it very easy to apply. Thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, but here I am just kind of searching up some reference photos for Deadpool. His costume's pretty simple, obviously red being the main color, then you have the black accents spread throughout. Once finding the image that I really wanted to go with, this, if you notice with the Deadpool costume, it changes slightly per movie. So this is one of the first images released of the new updated revised version of the Deadpool costume for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Obviously it's just a little onesie. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I wanted it to be as recognizable as possible. This little Deadpool kind of patch, I've never used patches before in any specific costume, but it worked like a charm, and you'll see that here in just a few moments. But right now I'm just kind of figuring out what parts are going to be black, where do I need to go heavy with the black in, and what are just going to be pretty much lines. You know, the first Deadpool movie was probably, I would say, such a big surprise for me. I really didn't know much of the character other than what I saw in Wolverine X-Men Origins, and that wasn't the best depiction of the character, but definitely what Ryan Reynolds was able to do with his standalone Deadpool movie. I don't remember having as much fun in the movie theaters as I did watching that movie for the first time. I went with some buddies from work at that time, and I had the best time watching that movie. It's definitely, and it has not changed, in my top 5 favorite standalone movies. Deadpool 2 was not as good as the first, but it was a different kind of vibe and a bigger, more grander story. I really like a contained superhero movie where it isn't necessarily the end of the world. It's more of a personal journey for the hero, and I think Deadpool 1 still stands the test of time. I actually recently watched it with my fiance and still laughed at all the jokes and had such a great time. These little pockets here are actually from a Bo-Katan costume. Whenever we did a Star Wars Halloween, we did Baby Yoda or Grogu, and then we did Mandalorian. I actually did film the entirety of me making that Mandalorian and Baby Yoda costume, so if you guys would like to see me post that, comment down below and I will get to work on editing that video. I've had this video in my camera roll for the longest time, but with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, I thought it'd be really cool to kind of make this video and maybe help any parents along who kind of want to do a DIY Deadpool costume for their kids. This could easily be done and replicated as well on a t-shirt. So if you have a cool red t-shirt and you want a little Deadpool design on there. So again, just kind of following the image on the iPad and just kind of getting a little creative with it. The black had to be applied in a few different coats on this part here, just because it was kind of getting a little dry. And while I did have several paint pens, it was just a lot of fabric to cover. In hindsight, I probably could have done a fabric kind of paint that you could possibly brush on, but I was worried that I wouldn't have as much control, and I know the lines on the costume were pretty defined. I didn't want it to be too messy either. This was something that I wanted him to be kind of comfortable in, and I was worried that if I did paint the fabric, it would make it really thick and maybe not breathable. And here in Florida, at least during this con, it was summertime. It was really, really hot. I think it was about 90 something degrees. And obviously, if you've ever been to a con, just getting from the parking lot into the venue can be such a journey. So I wanted to make it at least as light as possible and as comfortable as possible for him, because he definitely was a trooper this day. So Daddy was trying to make it as easy and comfortable for him. Now here I was worried about maybe underdoing it, but once I put the belt together with the pockets, I think it was just enough. I probably could have taken it a few notches further, but I thought this was the best way to obviously look like a Deadpool costume, but also keep it pretty simple for him. I didn't want it to be too crazy, and again, when, you know, got a little baby, you want him to be comfortable. So here I am just hot gluing, just kind of giving the illusion of a belt, and that's kind of what we were going for. I did want to make him two little swords, but I don't think Mama would have been okay with that, so we kept it kind of a PG baby Deadpool here. But no, we had a great time, and I think you guys are gonna like how everything comes out. So here, kind of just adding the finishing touches, I decided to cut the elastic band. So instead of making it a belt around his waist, I just gave kind of the illusion of a belt by adding that plastic elastiband just on the front two pieces to kind of simulate the Deadpool kind of utility belt that he wears. And I think it came out pretty cool. They did not last long though. In hindsight, I probably maybe would have used like Velcro or something, but just kind of him squirming around, those things popped off like immediately. But anyways, that's the main costume done and dusted, and I'm gonna go over just a little bit how I did the headpiece. Unfortunately, I did not get the beanie that I made for him on film. I thought I hit record, but apparently I didn't. And but I do want to kind of take a moment and explain how I did that. And that was super, super simple. Just using obviously a blank red beanie from Amazon, and then using some craft foam to kind of cut out the, I would say maybe diamond shaped pieces for the black part of the eyes, and then obviously the eyes themselves, but you guys will see here in a minute. Just me finishing up adding the belt to the onesie and obviously replicating that on the exact same side. Again, in hindsight, instead of hot glue, I should have used some Velcro. That way I could have restuck them on if he ended up, you know, kind of breaking them or taking them off. But when you're making a costume for a baby, you just never know how it's gonna turn out. So, you know, you go with the flow. But this was a great kind of just one day little costume to make, and he looked super cute, and we had a blast. And here is the final look of the onesie done. And I think it just came out super awesome. Whole thing took me maybe 2 hours. Here's a look at the beanie that I made. And here are just some photos of him in it. I think that it absolutely came out super adorable. Mama went as Jubilee, and look at baby Deadpool wrapped up in a little tortilla there. I absolutely love this picture of us too. It was such a good time. And here's us just kind of little short videos from the day. The con was awesome, and he was such a trooper. We had such a blast. So many people loved our costumes, and it just was a 10 out of 10 day. This kind of geek culture is something I definitely want to expose my son to, because it's such a great community and always such a great time. Thank you guys so much for watching.